A warm welcome back to your latest industry recap. We have a new aircraft order on the cards, developments for an airline leaving a country, and airline expansion efforts. Why not begin with your latest aircraft order set to come? According to reports, Airbus is about to welcome in a new deal with Flyadeal, committing to the A330neo program. If you've never heard of them, they're a Saudi Arabia-based budget carrier, finalising a deal for 10 units. Purchases from this region have become certainly a reoccurring theme, significantly aided by the upcoming launch of Riyadh Air, and much of the focus has been placed by the kingdom on expanding the airline's business in the region to make this location a powerhouse rather than just a transit point across the Middle East. Saudi Arabia's growth theme is similar to that of nearby locations such as Doha, Dubai, and even Abu Dhabi. However, the broader mission will be even more challenging when you consider that there is so much competition in this region, and while there is certainly a lot of people traveling, you want to capture as much market share as possible. You want to be unique, and you want to do everything in a profitable manner. Striking that balance at times can be a true challenge. As for the commitment to the A330neo, a deal will likely be secured in the coming weeks. This comes from industry sources reporting across multiple publications. Flyadeal, however, studied the A330neo for some time alongside the Boeing 787. These two aircraft are typically paired against each other for aircraft orders in the more mid-sized wide-body flying market if you are not after something, say, like the 777X or A350. This new order, however, well, it is not necessarily brand new developments. We've heard about this for some time. You may recall that such an order seems to have been in the works stemming from June 2024, where I covered on the channel as well that the airline was looking towards wide-body aircraft to elevate its fleet, those wide-body aircraft to be a part of the next generation. Now, at that point, reporting was that the contract would range from 10 to 12 units, and the fresh reporting emerging in the last couple of days indicates we're looking at more 10. There could be more options added onto that. However, we have to wait for the deal to be formally unveiled and finalized. Such a purchase would also benefit the A330neo, which has experienced quite a resurgence across the last few years, with substantial commitments coming left, right, and center. There was ultimately a period when this was a program that struggled to acquire firm interest, and while there is certainly a lack of interest for the A330-800, Airbus's feelings for the broader program was always that of stability. They weren't too concerned. The A330neo has always been a program that didn't need thousands of orders to be successful. It was launched as a new engine option rather than a, say, clean sheet in a bid to compete with the emerging 787, which was really putting its foot down on the market. By launching the 330neo, the manufacturer kept costs down on the program and offered a relatively risk-free upgrade for airlines that were one day going to replace their A330ceos. However, at the point in which Airbus launched the Neo model, it was also aware that the CEO was still relatively new with most companies, so therefore they may be waiting a little while before those companies would look to actually replace the said current engine option variant. While the Neo experienced a slow start, its order tally has definitely risen of late, and this trend is expected to continue with many companies interested in its proposition and what it will really be able to aid them for future wide-body flying efforts. Over to the next story, and that sits with Play, an Icelandic low-cost carrier that recently burst onto the scenes. Well, they're going to be leaving the country of Canada after a very short stay equating to less than 2 years. The Icelandic carrier had been operating flights from Reykjavik to Hamilton, Ontario. However, this service will soon cease. The final flight is expected to be operated on April 22nd, giving us just a handful of more months of service, with the Canadian press reporting first that the airline would depart. The schedule was then updated to reveal the departure, something you can go into the back end of Play and have a look at. The carrier says it remains confident in Hamilton International and is disappointed that they are ending service, but they're happy at the very least they were able to serve the Canadian market, and who knows, at some point in the future, they may look to return. The Canadian market is one that has always proved challenging to crack, even for airlines based in the country, let alone those attempting to serve the location from their home. Moreover, Play faces enough challenges, remember, with a business model that has proven time and time again to be really complicated to sustain, thanks to its geographical positioning and the struggle to maintain the demand during non-peak seasons, also all the while doing this with a low-cost model. For Canada, Play's departure represents, however, yet another airline that has ceased serving the country. the country's own Lynx Air also shutting down. Now we have two low-cost units that were attempting to disrupt the market that have ultimately left Canada. However, if markets are not making money for the airline in question, especially on a low-cost business model, they will quickly exit it. Moreover, there are certainly complexities for some airlines in serving certain locations. It means they must exit this sooner rather than later to reduce their operational costs. Placing a new airline in a new market will always be challenging, but really finding a means to be successful in the long term is something entirely different. For Play, while their numbers have been up and down, markets have struggled more than others. This also includes some North American cities with services to be scaled back in the future. Play are not alone. Other airlines such as Norse Atlantic have attempted to master low-cost transatlantic travel. They have been forced to consistently adjust their networks, lease out aircraft, and withdraw from certain markets that are not profitable, all in a chase of having an operation that is stable 12 months of the year. And you'd argue they're still not at that point, let alone for Play on a much smaller scale. Over to the final story, and WestJet is expanding with a new service between Calgary and Mexico City International Airport. The service will begin on the 14th of May this year with 5 weekly flights, representing an essential rebuilding of the airline's international network. And that comes because WestJet last served Calgary through to Mexico City in 2018, so even before the global pandemic. So this service renewal effort is crucial for helping Alberta connect to one of the largest markets in North America. Thanks to this network enhancement as well, the WestJet group, including Sunwing, will operate through 13 cities in Mexico from a staggering, wait for it, 24 Canadian airports. With a continued focus on the leisure market, the airline group is aware of the importance of operating enough flights per week to Mexico, which remains a very important country during the warmer months for people to head to, even in the colder as well, for those trying to escape the harsh Canadian winters. Thanks to the commitment to Mexico, they'll offer greater service between their home country and the south than any other Canadian operator, looking to fly 200 plus flights per week during the peak summer travel period. In 2024, 46 flights per day between Canada and Mexico carried 2.6 million guests to and from both locations. These figures highlight that there is demand there during the summer months. WestJet also makes note of its relationship with Aeromexico, which will be very important in enabling codeshare benefits for customers seeking to travel beyond just Mexico City. The beauty of that is the two airlines have been partners since 2011, and now you're able to experience many more cities in Mexico, all on the single ticket, enhancing connectivity options from Alberta and giving people more bang for their buck. Also, a lot more flexibility on a single ticket, which makes their entire travel process arguably a lot smoother. That'll conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts, well, the best place to leave your opinions is down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow back here for your next industry recap.
And we'll fly.